Do you know who I am? I'm kind of a big deal.
Hello, welcome inside. It's another edition of the Bmore Baseball Podcast. I'm Jerry Coleman over there. That is the former 14-year MLB veteran, Orioles Hall of Famer Mike Bordick, and we are broadcasting in one of the best spots in Baltimore to watch sports. That is Pappas Seafood Sports Bar and Restaurant right here in Timonium, right here on Cranbrook Road, and Pappas is Oprah's favorite spot and ours too. We're producing brand new content each and every day on X, on Instagram, on Facebook. Find us now at the Bmore Ball Pod, the Bmore Ball Pod on YouTube. When you subscribe, you instantly become eligible for a $50 gift card from Lido Pizza. So please subscribe and show us evidence. We've reached episode number 17. We're going to be joined by the great Joe Orsulak coming up, who will be inducted into the Orioles Hall of Fame coming up in August. Mike and I also will talk about an important week for the Orioles as they're on the road in Tampa and the Yankees. The Red Sox dumping Devers. We'll get Mike's thoughts on that. And Dr. Michael Jacobs, of course, is here for his What's Up Doc segment. And we'll talk about injuries from outfield collisions. But let's bring in our featured guest. He is sponsored by Pappas Seafood, where we are, from crab cakes to seafood to all sorts of classics. They'll deliver straight to your door. 4 locations in the Baltimore area, plus nationwide shipping. Order today at pappascrabcakes.com. It's Orioles soon-to-be Hall of Famer Joe Orsulak, who, of course, played here between 88 and 92 and still remains a vital part of this community. Joe, thanks for being here today. Great to have you. Congratulations on this honor that's coming up in August. Long overdue, in my opinion. And first, tell us how you found out about the news. Who broke it?
Bill Stecca. Everybody knows Bill Stecca, don't they? Yeah, he called me, and I figured he was calling for a sweet visit or some kind of appearance, golf tournament. I didn't know. And he broke the news to me. I was quite surprised, but it's a good honor. Thank you. And this is my first podcast, by the way, Jerry, Mike. I appreciate you having me on.
Well, we're honored then. So thanks for coming on with us, and congratulations being a member now of the Oriole Hall of Fame. Did you know you get a green jacket? And are you prepared to wear that around town? That's what I wanted to know. Well, what does it feel to you to actually be a part of the Oriole Hall of Fame? There's some tremendous players on that list.
I know it is quite an honor, and I don't know how I feel about that. You know, I don't know about you, but to be among the group, you kind of don't think of yourself as that good enough player to be among the group with all these guys, and that's still the way I kind of feel. But they felt I was, so maybe I was a little better than I thought. But it's an honor, and the biggest part is when other people that you know, your friends, your family, they're happier for you than you are for yourself. So, and they're telling you you deserve it, and I feel good about it.
I got to ask you about this green jacket. What the heck is that? I mean, I know you get one for winning the Masters, but how often are you going to wear this out in public? Bordick, maybe you can give us some history on that with Joe.
Yeah, I wear it on the only special occasions, and that would be when players get honored into the Oriole Hall of Fame. So it's a one-time-a-year affair. Like Joe said, it's an incredible honor. And I proudly wear it on the day Joe goes into the Hall of Fame, and that'll be the only day I wear it.
That's kind of interesting. So anybody that's in the Hall of Fame is going to show up there with a green jacket. Is that what you're telling me?
They can if they want. They can show up with their green jacket. No doubt about it.
That's awesome. I may wear it when I go play golf with the guys I play golf with all the time. The first time I play with them again, see what their reaction is going to be.
Joe, I got to ask you, you're stuck with the Orioles. It wasn't forever, but it was a big part of your career. Was that the best part of your major league career when you look back on it?
Yeah, it was. Of course, coming up with a team when I was with the Pirates, that's a great opportunity right there. You dreamed all your life. That's your first team. But going to the Orioles really I still live in Baltimore. I mean, since 1988. So we loved it here. Had family here, doctors, a lot of good friends. And I don't plan on leaving the area. I plan on staying here. So it's been great for me.
Yeah, I should follow up on that because you're a product of Parsippany, New Jersey, probably the most famous person to come out of that spectacular town. But why Baltimore? I mean, you could have lived anywhere, and obviously the great access to crab cakes like here at Pappas is an advantage. But why did you remain here?
Well, because I didn't want to live in New Jersey any longer. That's why. The people are nice here in Baltimore. New Jersey is a little tougher crowd, and I really liked it. As far as being famous, Richie Sisk was a famous player, probably more famous than I. Paul Marabella, a few other guys. So it wasn't just me. There's some good players that come out of New Jersey, and I'm happy to be one of them.
Hey, in your great career, do you have any moments that stand out? Because, you've done some pretty special things. I think I remember seeing you on some bloopers. I think you were with the Cubs making a play, or the Mets maybe bobbling a play in the background. And I think you're linked to some other kind of famous plays. But do you personally have any moments that stick out in your great career?
Well, we were talking about before we were talking about the Bo Jackson play and everything. For about 10 or 12 years after that play, I didn't even know I hit that ball, because I hit the ball. What did you do back in the day when you hit the ball? You put your head down and you were running, and he had made the play and I was out, and I just turned around, went in the dugout. Then one year, a buddy of mine called me up. Hey, I see you on TV, Bo Jackson robbing you and this and that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, you hit that ball that Bo Jackson caught. And then I had a look, and I said, I did. So that kind of got me kind of famous for Bo Jackson. Another one was with in New York. Doc Gooden was pitching. I went in the corner in San Diego to get a ball hit down the line, and I want to come up and maybe get him at second base, and the ball landed on a plastic bag. Now I realized I don't have time to take the ball off the bag and separate it and throw, so I just picked it up and threw the bag and the ball all together, and then I pulled the throw off a railing, and it bounced behind second base, and the guy went all the way around, scored well, you call it a double and a two-base error, but that was they played that quite a bit.
Throughout your career, you're known as a really good defender. And one year you actually led the American League in assists, and it might even have been a record for a while with 22 outfield assists. As a shortstop, I just hung my hat on my defense, man. And it seems like you took a lot of pride in your defense as well. Tell us about your thoughts on defense and the 22 assists. What was it, back in 91, I think, you set that record?
Well, absolutely, defense is important. We always stress defense, but reality is we practiced it all the time. Every day, especially with Baltimore, ball off the wall. When I turned around to make a throw, I didn't look. I knew the guy that I was practicing with. I knew where he was going to be. I knew what depth he was going to be. I know what kind of throw I had to make to him to put him in position to make a perfect throw. And that kind of teamwork is what results in 22 assists, because you got to have a guy. Not all my throws are perfect, so you got to have a shortstop that will take a step in or a step back or right or left to make that throw perfect, because it might be off a little bit. I got to put it in a vicinity, and you got to make the adjustment to make it a perfect throw so you can make your perfect throw to whatever base you're throwing it to. And we worked on that so much, and the record really is a tribute to my teammates, because sometimes I'd make a short hop throw to a second baseman. He'd pick it, put the tag on. They weren't all perfect, but we worked on it so much that most of the plays were set up perfectly for execution. And I don't think they quite work on that like they do now.
Well, that's sort of my follow-up, because I'm sitting here with not only two Orioles Hall of Famers, but two excellent defenders that took pride in their defense. Do you feel like that's the case these days with the guys, or they're more offensive-minded, Joe?
Well, both. I mean, of course, they're paying for the offense, and they're not putting the time in my opinion, as much. Look, long tossing, stretching your arm out, accurate throwing. When I come with the Pirates, I was throwing sidearm one day. Dave Parker come over to me. He says, don't do that. Over the top. Hit your target every time. Just playing regular catch, 90 feet, 100 feet, 300 feet, 400 feet. You're dropping the ball down and where you need to do it. And then you get pretty good at it, So we worked on it. We worked on it. We also worked on your hitting. You have to hit to stay in the big leagues, but we worked on it all parts of the games. Maybe they don't quite work on it as much.
You mentioned the great Dave Parker. You played on some incredible teams and some incredible times. Any of these other players that stick out that had an impact on you, or even coaches or managers that might have had a lasting impression on how you played the game and maybe things you kind of carry today?
Well, I mean, I sat on the bench next to Mike Easler, one of the best, they call him the hitman, one of the best pinch hitters that probably ever played. And he would teach me, he said, look, the bat's got to feel good to you. put your batting gloves on, get your pine tar on the bat, feel it in your hands, get your helmet right next to you. Watch the game, know who you're going to hit off of. And then when it's time, there's no surprises. You're ready, you're loose. Your hands feel good. Bordy, your hands got to feel good on the bat. Can't be slipping and sliding. It's got to feel good. And I learned a lot from him, just to pinch hit. Now, Rupert Jones was on one of my teams. He taught me how to go to stay low and go after a ball in front of me. And you get to it so much quicker than if you stand up and go. And I closed the gap. You talk about throwing people out. I could close the gap an extra 2 steps off the other guy because I stayed down on my first few steps. I stayed down. I got to the ball quicker, shortened my throw, strengthened my arm, the shorter the throw. So I learned so much. Don Robinson taught me the pitcher. He says, the manager's always watching you. The manager's always watching you. So no matter what you do, of course he's not. But I did some things in spring training and batting practice and things that I know that I got noticed by the manager. So when I got called to the big leagues, instead of a guy hitting maybe 50 points higher than me in AAA, and I got called up, I knew it was because I did something in spring training that impressed the manager. So, I learned that. This goes on and on and on, of course, but just a few things.
Joe, what's your feelings about the way analytics have invaded the game and really taken over it on several levels? I mean, do you find it useful in any level? Was it something you paid attention to back in your day if someone came to you with some stats and, trying to analyze things? You didn't have an iPad back then. I don't think they were invented around that time. But how do you feel about the way it's evolved?
Well, I think they put a little too much stress on it, but the value to me is in drafting. What I've seen is excellent results in drafting because they're measuring tools, and that's helpful to get a really good big league ball player. But this is like in reinventing the wheel. We did this. We had meetings. We went over pitchers. We didn't go over position to play. We didn't go over every single detail. Okay, it's a 3-1 count. 90% of the time, he's going to throw a changeup on 3-1. 87% of the time, he's going to throw a curveball on 2-0. You're clouding your mind with too much information, and you become guess hitters. And that's what I think sometimes you see all these strikeouts, not because the guys can't hit the pitches, because they're dead set on thinking they know what pitch is coming. They commit to it completely, and it's swing and a miss. We used to see the ball hit the ball. That's an unusual philosophy, Bordy. I don't know if you ever used it. Look fastball away, react to the soft stuff, and be able to eliminate the inside corner until you get 2 strikes because you're looking away. That's what we did. Now I think they're selling out. They're guessing too much a little bit, and that's why you got guys hitting 220, 210. Otherwise, I think with the physical talent they have, there's no way that would happen.
More of the Bmore Baseball podcast coming right up. At Pappas Restaurants, we've been serving up Maryland's best crab cakes for over 5 decades, and now we make it easier than ever to get your favorites. With 4 restaurants and sports bar locations across Harford County, Baltimore County, and Anne Arundel County, you can stop in for fresh seafood, ice-cold drinks, and wall-to-wall TVs. But if you can't make it in, don't worry. We'll bring Pappas to you. Our new state-of-the-art shipping and commissary location on Bel Air Road in Nottingham means you can pick up fresh-made meals or have our famous crab cakes and seafood shipped anywhere in the country. Dine in, pick up, or ship nationwide. However you Pappas, we've got you covered. Order now at pappascrabcakes.com. Shop Maryland's largest adult use and medical cannabis menu located at 1114 Cathedral Street in Baltimore, with medical delivery available throughout Maryland 7 days a week, only at Relief Shop.
Hello, my name is Reese Friedman, and I'm the daughter of Stephen L. Friedman and Rachel Friedman, and the granddaughter of Michael A. Friedman. Now, the law office of Michael Friedman's firm has been going on for over 35 years. If you or a loved one have been injured or in a serious accident, please call the number right here or email us. Also, we don't want you to hesitate. We're just one phone call away.
Jerry Coleman here. I've been a client of the law offices of Michael A. Friedman for well over 25 years now. From motor vehicle accidents to other tort-related issues, 410-363-6848, or find them on their website at maflaw.com.
I'm retired now, but I was an Orioles home run. Grand slam, actually. Took a sweet ride right into the flag court, and it was awesome. Could be awesome for you, too. If you play Home Run Riches from the Maryland Lottery, you could win instantly, or be a contestant of the game and win $500 for being selected, $500 for every Orioles home run, and $5,000 for every grand slam. Sounds like a ball if you ask me. Enter all season at mdlottery.com.
So you weren't a guest hitter? I mean, I was a guest hitter. No, I really wasn't. I wasn't. But I do want to stick with the offense because when you were with Baltimore, much like me, and I blame it on the short porch at Camden Yards for my offensive success, but you had your best years as an Oriole as well. Do you liken that just to your maturity as a player, just the timing? I think you were like 26 when you came over to Baltimore, so that's kind of prime time. Or was it just the setting and your teammates that helped you put those numbers up?
Well, you learn, you do guess, Bordy. There's time for guessing. 2-0, 3-1. I was hitting off of Mike Moore. Do you remember Mike Moore? Do you ever play against him? And right, I know you're a lot younger than me, but maybe not that much younger. But I hit a home run off him on a fastball one time, and then he started throwing me sliders, and I just couldn't pick it up. I couldn't pick it up, and I'm complaining to Eddie Murray on the bench. Eddie, man, I can't pick up the slider. He says his slider's too good. I said, Eddie says, the slider's no good. Just look for it. If you look for it, it's not that good. So I went up there and I looked for a slider, and he threw me a slider, hit a home run. It wasn't that good. So these are things you learn. Okay, I'm going to look for a pitch. If the guy keeps throwing, if he keeps getting you out, you got to look for it. You got to take away the pitch. There's a lot of things you can do to not really guess, but put yourself in position to make him throw a pitch that you want. And that can be done too. So, I mean, we did things like that.
Joe, a little later, we're going to be talking with Dr. Michael Jacobs in our What's Up Doc segment about outfield collisions. And it seems like a lot of guys will sacrifice their body and head towards that wall. We saw it with Colton Cowser recently, the kid out in Sacramento, whatever he plays for, ran into a wall as well. What about you? I mean, how many times did you collide with the wall out there at Memorial Stadium or other ballparks? And I have to imagine they were a lot harder back then and less padding.
Not necessarily. That's another thing. It's called ballpark awareness, I would think. The warning track is a certain length, and you run full speed before the game, and you hit that track, and you count how many steps before you hit the wall. 1, 2, 3, you're going to hit the wall. So you're aware of that before it ever happens. In Memorial Stadium, I ran into a wall there in left field. There's certain sections where they have a giveaway wall. You can run into that wall. It's got wooding framing behind it. I knew I could run into that wall full speed and not get hurt. And I did. I made some good plays over the wall, as a matter of fact. And I knew I was going to collide and never got hurt. You get jammed up a little bit, but I'm not running into the wall at Wrigley Field. I'm not running into the wall in Boston on the sidelines, or even the big wall or the short wall, right anywhere in Boston. I don't think I'm running into the wall because it's what they say, business decision. Yeah, it's stupid if you run into that wall, is what it is. Because if you may not play the rest of the season. So ahead of time where you can run into the wall, where you can't. And then there's the other factor, running into your own teammates. We didn't really ask that question. I don't know if you want me to talk about that for a second. I will. All right. When I played with Brady Anderson, Mike Devereaux, we had the best communication of 3 outfielders he ever had, and I ever played with. All center fielders playing different positions. I might be playing left or right. Devereaux liked the right field, and Brady plays center. Devereaux plays center. But ahead of the time, I'd look at Brady in center. I say, I got the short ball because I was good going in. My strength was coming in, and Brady's strength was going back. So anything in the gap behind me, he had. And I went and followed him, backed him up. And he knew that the short ball I was going to get, and he wasn't going to run into me. And I could sell out and make the play. And knew my guy isn't going to run into me. And when I know that, I make the play. But if I hesitate or I'm looking out of the corner of my eye, I don't make the play. And there is no collisions. And that's the kind of talk beforehand that avoids most of these collisions. Even though the crowd is loud, we already know what our teammate's going to do.
So, Joe, I know you were talking about outfield communication, but I need to find out, how did you communicate with infielders? Because myself as an infielder, I would actually tell my outfielders that if I don't hear you, I'm actually going to catch the ball. So, you better be loud or I'm coming to get you, or vice versa. So that's how we communicated. What did you have with your infielders?
Well, Dave Parker told me when I call for a ball, they better be able to hear you in the upper deck behind home plate. And I did it without embarrassment. Guys are, I got it. No. Because I don't want to run you over. And they taught this in the minor leagues, Bordick. they told me one time, because they wanted the outfielders to be aggressive, that you call everything off. You know, the infielder, typically when I'm running in full speed and I see you with your hands up, you got it. Now, the only reason I'm going to call you off that ball is if I have a better chance to make a throw, to throw somebody out. Otherwise, it's your ball. So you better catch it. But they taught us, they said, go get them no matter what. Call the infielders off. I said, I was, low A ball. Ball went up. Shortstop had it. He was backpedaling, but they told me to go get it. I called him off, and he just kept coming. I ran right in the back of his head with my nose. Knocked him out, broke my nose and everything. But they were teaching us to be aggressive. But typically, Bordy, you go back for the ball, and your hands are up, it's your ball. Now, I'm going to protect you a little bit because of wind and everything. I might sneak around behind you a little bit, not light-footed, so I don't get your attention. But if you misjudge it, I can maybe pick you up there. But that's the thing. And you're the captain of the infield. The outfielders are the captain of the infielders. But I know your range. So I know where I'm playing. I know when the ball goes up where it's going to land and whether you can get it or not. And if I don't think you can get it, I might come in with a dive and try to get it. So all the factors are different because you're a little faster than maybe the second baseman, definitely the third baseman or the first baseman. So we know everybody's range, how high the ball's hit, where the wind's blowing, where it's going to come down, and who has the best chance to catch it. And that's the communication ahead of time. We all know this. You know it, I know it, because we've communicated it. And if you do that, there's usually very little problems, even with a big crowd, because verbal doesn't always work when there's 40,000 people in the stands.
Joe, last question I had for you, and you were probably waiting for me to say this last question I had for you. It's actually a two-parter. Your favorite memory as an Oriole, and maybe this coincides with your favorite overall major league memory during your distinguished career.
Let's say we played a game in Yankee Stadium, and I wasn't supposed to play that day. Frank Robinson was the manager, and I think it was 89. I really do. But I had about 50 passes in the stands. My mom and dad were there, all my friends, my baseball coaches and whatnot, and I'm not playing. Well, whoever was hitting cleanup that day, I can't remember who, couldn't play, was sick or whatever. And Frank was not big on scrambling the whole lineup, so he just penciled me in a cleanup spot, which I'd never hit before because I only had like 7 home runs and 1,000 at-bats at that point in my career. So now I'm doing an interview. Tony Kubek, boy, you might remember him. I know, Jerry, you do. He's interviewing me. He says, Joe, you're hitting cleanup for the first time. You only have 7 home runs, and you're facing Walt Terrell. 0 for 10 off of Walt Terrell. What are you going to do? Different anything? I said, yeah, Tony, I'm not going to do anything different. I'll try to hit the ball hard and this and that and whatnot. Standard lines, you give them. And I hit a sac fly the first time up. And then the second time up, I hit a home run in the right center field bleachers. And the third time up, I hit a home run in the right center field bleachers, just doing what I normally do. You know what I mean? And it was great because I ended up getting another RBI. I think I got off John Candelaria of all people. And we won the game 5-4. And probably the best game I ever had, and especially in front of the home crowd. Not the Baltimore home crowd, my hometown home crowd, which, as you know, when you're playing in front of them, you always want to do well, and mom and dad and everything. So that was probably the most memorable and maybe one of the best games I ever had.
Awesome. Well, we do appreciate you being out here. Make sure you have a couple of these award-winning crab cakes from Pappas. Oprah endorses them. You'll love them twice as much. And again, thanks for coming out and joining us here at Pappas Sports Bar and Restaurant here in Timonium. It's been a pleasure of ours. And even though you didn't bring us any vegetables, we're all good.
Thanks, Joe.
All right. Thank you, guys.
More of the Bmore Baseball Podcast coming right up. It's saving season at Lido Pizza. 99-cent refreshing iced teas for spring and summer. Or $6 calzones every Tuesday. There are tons of new deals and rewards for everyone. Exclusively at LidoPizza.com or on the Lido Pizza app. Lido Pizza, a local legend since 1955. Proud partner of the Baltimore Orioles. They say it all comes back to your roots, right? At Grassroots, high-quality cannabis is in their nature. From soil to soul, their passion for cannabis and community inspires everything they do. Try your favorite strains from their cultivar library of top-shelf flower, pre-rolls, and concentrates. Whether you're cheering from the stands or chanting for the O's at home, their crafted flower helps you curate the perfect game day. Ask for grassroots cannabis at your favorite dispensary in Maryland. Everyone knows Greenmount Station in Hampstead, but did you know that at Greenmount Station you can bet 7 days a week just like you're at the track? With in-person teller windows and state-of-the-art touchscreen kiosks. And with Greenmount Station's brand new Bet Park Sportsbook, you can bet on all other sports as well, wherever you are in Maryland. Spreads, money lines, live bets, props, parlays, and teasers. The Bet Parks Maryland mobile app is now live for Apple and Android devices, so you'll never miss your next big score. Just search for Bet Parks MD in the Apple App Store or on Google Play. 21 and over only. Please play responsibly. For help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Effective Solutions, your one-stop shop for commercial contracting. Everything from excavation and site development to emergency remediation and restoration. Effective Solutions specializes in many forms of commercial and mixed-use construction. With a dedicated staff and a commitment to quality, Effective Solutions delivers every time.
Take a swing at a healthier mouth and a better-looking smile with my dental team at Catonsville Dental Care. Catonsville Dental Care is a winning team of caring dental professionals who treat you like family. You will love their clean, friendly office where your comfort and care are their top priorities. Catonsville Dental Care has more than 2,000 five-star Google reviews and received many awards, such as Top Dentist and Top Workplace. Catonsville Dental Care accepts most insurances and offers convenient hours, before or after work, and some Saturdays too. Mention the Jerry Special for your $149 new patient visit, or receive $500 off your Invisalign treatment. So get off the bench. Call Catonsville Dental Care today.
Thank you.
All right. Great having Joe Orsulak here, Bordy. Let's move on to For the Bird, sponsored by the Maryland Lottery. Playing the Maryland Lottery responsibly means knowing what's true and what's not about your favorite games. Learn the facts and the myths at mdlottery.com. And please, as always, play responsibly. Orioles undergoing a litmus test this week, Bordy, with games on the road in Tampa and at the Yankees, the top of the division they're facing. Didn't get off to a great start with Zach Eflin. But for me, they have to win. I would say they have to have a winning road trip here out of these 7 games, at least 4-3, to even be contenders or get near 500 as we near the trade deadline. Because if they're not near 500 near the trade deadline, I don't see a point in holding on to all these guys, Bordy.
No, I think they're really contemplating all of that right now, what to do. And I think this week is probably the most crucial week of the season as far as understanding what is this team. And I don't know that a lot of people really know just yet. Yeah, they got on a nice winning streak here recently, but the problem was the winning streak was against subpar talent. Chicago White Sox, the Mariners offense was struggling. The Angels are kind of a floundering sub 500 team as well. So now this week is going to be the challenge. So we've got, the Rays in front of us, the Yankees, and then of course the Rangers coming to town as well. So this is going to be a challenge for this team. Last night, the road trip did not start the way they wanted. Well, here you go. Another test. Can they rebound and get themselves right back on track? Because they're going to have to, or they're going to start selling some guys soon.
I did want to get your thoughts, though, on the Red Sox just dumping Rafael Devers.
Yeah, pretty crazy, right? I think that this has been a drama that's been going on since the offseason. And they got Alex Bregman. They had him on the hook. And I think Devers was wondering, what the heck is he going to do? And they said, oh, he's going to be the second baseman. So there was miscommunication there when all of a sudden Bregman comes into camp and he's playing third base only. So that kind of ruffled Devers' feathers, understandably. They said, okay, you're just going to be our DH. He kind of accepted that. And then when Casas goes down with a knee injury at first base, hey, you think you can play first base? He said, no way. Now, I personally think that's totally wrong. I think as a player, I don't care if you make it $300 million or $1 million or minimum, you'll do whatever that organization asks. And I think you're doing it for your teammates. You're doing it for the city that hired you to play, that wants you to put your best foot forward. And I'm surprised Major League Baseball didn't get involved in this because there's probably some sort of breach of contract in there one way or another. Now, I know the union would stick up for their player to the bitter end, but if I'm a player in the Red Sox clubhouse, I'm saying, go get him, man, because you don't care about this team enough to even suck up and play a little first base. Are you kidding me? They will miss his bat, and this team might suffer, that's for sure, because they're going to miss Devers' bat. But I think collectively as a whole, if you want to be a successful organization, you need that good continuity in the clubhouse. You need everybody pulling the right way. That's why I like this Orioles team so much. I think they do have, that good heart. They are all trying to pull the right thing. They might need a little edgier guy in there to ruffle some young feathers, but yeah, getting Devers out of there. I think Red Sox fans are going to be happy with this move as well. They're not going to be tied down to a 10-year DH. Now they're going to get more young players in there as well.
And the Orioles certainly don't have a prima donna like Rafael Devers, thankfully, floating around their locker room. All right, let's float beyond Baltimore, a national and sometimes international perspective, all brought to you by our friends over at Relief Medical Marijuana Shop. Relief Shop, Baltimore's best adult use for medical cannabis. A dispensary with 700 plus unique menu items and home delivery always available for medical patients at Relief Shop. So The Athletic puts out this annual anonymous players poll, sort of like what they did with Tyrese Halliburton for the most overrated NBA player. You saw how that worked out. He's responded, at least through most of the postseason. So they, in the spring, asked 115 players about which organizations have the worst reputations in baseball, and 39 of the 115 identified the now Sacramento Athletics as the worst organization in all of baseball with the worst reputation. Probably not a surprise for you. You played for that organization back in the day, and they've certainly evolved since, but I'll round out the top five. The White Sox were second, then come the Marlins, Rockies, Pirates, Angels, and Rays. That may have been more than five teams. Math is not my strong point, but what does it say? And should the Orioles, have a big sigh of relief? They weren't included on this list.
Well, I think the Orioles have gone leaps and bounds to protect themselves, keeping up with analytics. And I think that might be the biggest knock probably on a lot of organizations right now. If you can't keep up with the modern times and understand what players need and what they thrive on nowadays, which is constant feedback, constant numbers. If you don't have that in your organization, then players aren't going to appreciate you, and you just don't think you're taking care of the players. Yeah, I was part of the A's organization when the A's organization was the best in all of baseball. They had great continuity from the top all the way down through the organization. Everybody was on the same page. New ownership came in and really didn't care enough to kind of develop it and keep it in Oakland. So the place was a shambles. And when visiting players would go in there and play in the Coliseum, they'd see that. And who the heck would want to play there? And they probably hear the nightmare stories from the Oakland A's players themselves. The Rockies, it's been documented. They are so far behind the times. They're living in the 90s right now. As a matter of fact, I should go look for a job there because they still have 90s age coaches. So it's all about keeping up with the times in Major League Baseball and kind of keeping the modern day player happy with all the amenities it's going to take.
Mike, what about the fact that it was an anonymous survey? A lot of these guys don't want to put their names out there for obvious reasons. How do you feel about these kind of things?
Yeah, well, I don't mind, to be honest with you, as long as it's anonymous. Players need job security, right? So all of a sudden they're talking bad about an organization. They might be playing for them in a couple of weeks or possibly the next day, next year. So yeah, keeping it under wraps, I think is smart from a player standpoint. And I also think it's good to keep the league on notice, man. If you're an organization that needs to be lifted up, you better, start, taking care of your organization the right way, or you might not be a part of Major League Baseball much longer.
So What's Up, Doc segment sponsored by, of course, the law offices of Michael A. Friedman, my personal attorneys for over 25 years. There's always a live person available when you call the law offices of Michael A. Friedman at 410-363-6848. Dr. Michael Jacobs is with us here at Pappas Restaurant, sports bar, and seafood, and enjoying some crab cakes, crab soup, and all the amenities. But Doc, let's talk about these outfield wall collisions. I mentioned them to Joe Orsulak earlier in the conversation, and the most prominent one lately was Colton Cowser. It occurred last Thursday against the Tigers. I couldn't believe he stayed in the game he did, but then subsequently he missed the next 3 games. I know he came back, but do you think this was a case of him talking the trainers and maybe the medical staff out of leaving the game and saying, okay, I'm all right, I'll play through this?
Clearly, it wasn't a catastrophic collision where you knew the player was severely injured and the player wanted to play. And quite typically, given the excitement of the game, you don't always appreciate the significance of these injuries when they first happen. So I don't think it's surprising that he stayed out. And usually the trainers have a great rapport with the players and trust them to be honest. So I think that was all kind of standard operating procedure. Obviously, as Mike can tell you, frequently the day after the collision, you feel worse. Nobody knows the exact nature of the injury, but Joe Orsulak gave a great assessment of how to avoid injuries. And you never know how a young outfielder like Cowser would have prepared for this. He would count the number of steps to the warning track. All the warning tracks have slightly different inclines. As he said, which I never knew, there was a collapsible wall at Memorial Stadium, which gave him a little more leeway. And all of these veteran moves, I think, can really help you. The fact that Cowser hasn't played in quite some time probably hurt him, and that he didn't probably have all his general comfort levels back. And it's also key as to how you hit the wall. For example, I think the player who broke his shoulder hit the wall flush, which means the power went directly into his shoulder socket, and apparently it cracked, and that's a big time injury. More commonly, players tuck their shoulder a little bit, in which case they can hurt their acromioclavicular joint, which Mike knows about since he hurt his in a collision, and that's a completely different injury. Other times, players sense what's happening and they relax a little bit, which probably helps them a bit. The angle of the collision, the power of the collision, and how the player prepares for it are all complex factors that you can't accommodate. But hopefully Cowser, given his track record this year with that regrettable thumb injury, will be back. He played yesterday, so hopefully this won't be too severe, but it's clearly a problem running into the wall. And just like Joe said, running into players is also very dangerous.
Any experience from that, Mike?
Oh, just
making sure you communicate. You know, Joe talked the importance of communication. I know as an infielder, there were a couple times. Now think about this: Ricky Henderson's in the outfield, Dave Henderson's in the outfield, I had B.J. Surhoff in the outfield. So a lot of prominent players out there. And I said, listen, man, the last thing I want to do is get hurt, and I don't need any of you big guys running me over. So I am going to catch every ball, no matter what. I am going to get every ball. If I'm camped underneath it, I'll wave my arms, but I am going to get it until I hear you call it. And pretty much every guy did, thank goodness, because I wanted to catch every ball. I know the importance of those outs in the big leagues.
Well, it's interesting because the worst collision we had happened before the game. Alan Mills was doing, as pitchers frequently do, shagging fly balls in the outfield, and the ball came in a little short. And as it always amazed me, the talent of you guys, Mike. A lot of guys would catch these balls behind their back and do little trick catches, which to me was insane. But he was coming in and doing a little clever catch, and he didn't see Lenny Webster coming out, who's built like a linebacker. And he went right into Allen, and he actually stretched Allen's shoulder such that his brachial plexus nerve went out. And fortunately, it was his non-pitching shoulder, but we did nerve conduction studies, and his whole non-pitching arm was dead for about a month. And it took him about 2.5 months to recover from that, which was, again, a totally avoidable incident and routine pregame shagging a fly ball. So you've got to be diligent all the time.
Dr. Michael Jacobs, What's Up, Doc, brought to us by the law offices of Michael A. Friedman. Appreciate it, Doc. We also want to thank our loyal sponsors, including Justin Wendell and the folks over here, Chuck, the manager over at Pappas Restaurant Sports Bar here in Timonium, for having us. It has been a delight.
They say it all comes back to your roots, right? At Grassroots, high-quality cannabis is in their nature. From soil to soul, their passion for cannabis and community inspires everything they do. Try your favorite strains from their cultivar library of top-shelf flower, pre-rolls, and concentrates. Whether you're cheering from the stands or chanting for the O's at home, their crafted flower helps you curate the perfect game day. Ask for Grassroots Cannabis at your favorite dispensary in Maryland.
Hello, my name is Reese Friedman, and I'm the daughter of Stephen L. Friedman and Rachel Friedman, and the granddaughter of Michael A. Friedman. Now, the law office of Michael Friedman's firm has been going on for over 35 years. If you or a loved one have been injured or in a serious accident, please call the number right here or email us. Also, we don't want you to hesitate. We're just one phone call away.
Jerry Coleman here. I've been a client of the law offices of Michael A. Friedman for well over 25 years now. From motor vehicle accidents to other tort-related issues, 410-363-6848, or find them on their website at maflaw.com.
I'm retired now, but I was an Orioles home run. Grand slam, actually. Took a sweet ride right into the flag court, and it was awesome. could be awesome for you too. If you play Home Run Riches from the Maryland Lottery, you could win instantly or be a contestant of the game and win $500 for being selected, $500 for every Orioles home run, and $5,000 for every Grand Slam. Sounds like a ball if you ask me. Enter all season at mdlottery.com.
At Pappas Restaurants, we've been serving up Maryland's best crab cakes for over 5 decades, and now we make it easier than ever to get your favorites. With 4 restaurants and sports bar locations across Harford County, Baltimore County, and Anne Arundel County, you can stop in for fresh seafood, ice-cold drinks, and wall-to-wall TVs. But if you can't make it in, don't worry. We'll bring Pappas to you. Our new state-of-the-art shipping and commissary location on Bel Air Road in Nottingham means you can pick up fresh-made meals or have our famous crab cakes and seafood shipped anywhere in the country. Dine in, pick up, or ship nationwide. However you Pappas, we've got you covered. Order now at pappascrabcakes.com. It's saving season at Lido Pizza. 99-cent refreshing iced teas for spring and summer, or $6 calzones every Tuesday. There are tons of new deals and rewards for everyone, exclusively at lidopizza.com or on the Lido Pizza app. Lido Pizza, a local legend since 1955, proud partner of the Baltimore Orioles. Everyone knows Greenmount Station in Hampstead, but did you know that at Greenmount Station you can bet 7 days a week just like you're at the track? With in-person teller windows and state-of-the-art touchscreen kiosks. And with Greenmount Station's brand new Bet Park Sportsbook, you can bet on all other sports as well, wherever you are in Maryland. Spreads, money lines, live bets, props, parlays, and teasers. The Bet Parks Maryland mobile app is now live for Apple and Android devices, so you'll never miss your next big score. Just search for Bet Parks MD in the Apple App Store or on Google Play. 21 and over only. Please play responsibly. For help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Shop Maryland's largest adult use and medical cannabis menu located at 1114 Cathedral Street in Baltimore, with medical delivery available throughout Maryland 7 days a week. Only at Relief Shop. Take a swing at a healthier mouth and a better looking smile with my dental team at Catonsville Dental Care. Catonsville Dental Care is a winning team of caring dental professionals who treat you like family. You will love their clean, friendly office where your comfort and care are their top priorities. Catonsville Dental Care has more than 2,000 5-star Google reviews and received many awards, such as Top Dentist and Top Workplace. Catonsville Dental Care accepts most insurances and offers convenient hours, before or after work, and some Saturdays too. Mention the Jerry Special for your $149 new patient visit, or receive $500 off your Invisalign treatment. So get off the bench. Call Catonsville Dental Care today.
Effective Solutions, your one-stop shop for commercial contracting. Everything from excavation and site development to emergency remediation and restoration. Effective Solutions specializes in many forms of commercial and mixed-use construction. With a dedicated staff and a commitment to quality, Effective Solutions delivers every time.
Thanks to senior executive producer Chip Franklin for putting this latest episode together. Usually I have a very cute quip to throw at Chip, or some would call it an insult, but he worked hard on this podcast, so I'll let him be for a week, and next week we'll get back to insulting him. Until next time, be real, be kind, and make sure to be back next week for another edition. And thanks for having us, Pappas. It's the Bmore Baseball Podcast. See ya.
Do you know who I am? I'm kind of a big deal.